Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A particular environment or walk of life. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A playing field where sports events take place. The central area of an ancient Roman amphitheater where contests and spectacles were held, especially an area that was strewn with sand. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. People in general, especially a distinctive group of people with some shared interest. Mathematics, the set of values of the independent variable for which a function is defined. The content of a particular field of knowledge. A particular environment or walk of life. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. His domain extended into Europe. A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science, a set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics, a set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers as a field. Play as a fielder. Select, a team or individual player, for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. The, usually elliptical, path described by one celestial body in its revolution about another. He plotted the orbit of the Moon. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. In the political orbit of a world power. A particular environment or walk of life. He's out of my orbit. Move in an orbit. The Moon orbits around the Earth. The bony cavity in the skull containing the eyeball. The path of an electron around the nucleus of an atom. The apparent surface of the imaginary sphere on which celestial bodies appear to be projected. A particular aspect of life or activity. A particular environment or walk of life. His social sphere is limited. The geographical area in which one nation is very influential. Any spherically shaped artifact. A solid figure bounded by a spherical surface, including the space it encloses. A three-dimensional closed surface such that every point on the surface is equidistant from the center. A small round container that is open at the top for holding tobacco. A large ball with finger holes used in the sport of bowling. The quantity contained in a bowl. The act of rolling something, as the ball in bowling. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A concave shape with an open top. A dish that is round and open at the top for serving foods. A round vessel that is open at the top, used chiefly for holding food or liquids. A wooden ball, with flattened sides so that it rolls on a curved course, used in the game of lawn bowling. Engage in the sport of bowling. My parents like to bowl on Friday nights. Hurl a cricket ball from one end of the pitch towards the batsman at the other end. Roll a ball. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A playing field where sports events take place. The area in which something exists or lives. The totality of surrounding conditions. He longed for the comfortable environment of his living room. The commercial activity involved in repairing old structures or constructing new ones. Their main business is home construction. The act of constructing something. During the construction we had to take a detour. An interpretation of a text or action. They put an unsympathetic construction on his conduct. The creation of a construct. The process of combining ideas into a congruous object of thought. A group of words that form a constituent of a sentence and are considered as a single unit. I concluded from his awkward constructions that he was a foreigner. A thing constructed. A complex entity constructed of many parts. She wore her hair in an amazing construction of whorls and ribbons. Drawing a figure satisfying certain conditions as part of solving a problem or proving a theorem. The assignment was to make a construction that could be used in proving the Pythagorean theorem. The people in a society considered as a system organized by a characteristic pattern of relationships. Sociologists have studied the changing structure of the family. A particular complex anatomical part of a living thing and its construction and arrangement. He has good bone structure. A thing constructed. A complex entity constructed of many parts. The structure consisted of a series of arches. Give a structure to. I need to structure my days. The complex composition of knowledge as elements and their combinations. His lectures have no structure. The manner of construction of something and the arrangement of its parts. Artists must study the structure of the human body. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The circumstances under which competition occurs. The government's objective is to ensure a genuinely level playing field for American industry and commerce in Europe. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The territory occupied by a nation. A politically organized body of people under a single government. The country's largest manufacturer. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. Bible country. The people who live in a nation or country. The whole country worshipped him. An area outside of cities and towns. His poetry celebrated the slower pace of life in the country. Material in the top layer of the surface of the earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. The land had never been plowed. The territory occupied by a nation. He returned to the land of his birth. A politically organized body of people under a single government. An industrialized land. United States inventor who incorporated Polaroid film into lenses and invented the one-step photographic process, 1909 to 1991. Extensive landed property, especially in the country, retained by the owner for his own use. The family owned a large estate on Long Island. Reach or come to rest. The bird landed on the highest branch. Bring into a different state. This may land you in jail. The people who live in a nation or country. Arrive on shore. The ship landed in Pearl Harbor. Cause to come to the ground. The pilot managed to land the airplane safely. Agriculture considered as an occupation or way of life. There's no work on the land anymore. The solid part of the Earth's surface. The plane turned away from the sea and moved back over land. Shoot at and forced to come down. The enemy landed several of our aircraft. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. He made it the law of the land. A domain in which something is dominant. A land of make-believe. Bring ashore. The drug smugglers landed the heroin on the beach of the island. Deliver, a blow. He landed several blows on his opponent's head. The land on which real estate is located. He built the house on land leased from the city. The part of a piece of clothing that covers the thighs. His lap was covered with food stains. Take up with the tongue. The cat lapped up the milk. Touching with the tongue. The dog's laps were warm and wet. A flap that lies over another part. The lap of the shingles should be at least 10 inches. Pass the tongue over. Movement once around a course. He drove an extra lap just for insurance. Wash or flow against. Move with or cause to move with a whistling or hissing sound. An area of control or responsibility. The job fell right in my lap. Lie partly over or alongside of something or of one another. The upper side of the thighs of a seated person. He picked up the little girl and plopped her down in his lap. The domain ruled by a king or queen. A domain in which something is dominant. The untroubled kingdom of reason. A basic group of natural objects. A country with a king as head of state. A monarchy with a king or queen as head of state. The highest taxonomic group into which organisms are grouped. One of 5 biological categories: Monera or Protoctista or Plantae or Fungi or Animalia. The side that is forward or prominent. A person used as a cover for some questionable activity. A group of people with a common ideology who try together to achieve certain general goals. He led the National Liberation Front. Be oriented in a certain direction, often with respect to another reference point, be opposite to. The immediate proximity of someone or something. He was well behaved in front of company. Confront bodily. The line along which opposing armies face each other. A sphere of activity involving effort. The Japanese were active last week on the diplomatic front. Meteorology, the atmospheric phenomenon created at the boundary between 2 different air masses. Relating to or located in the front. The front lines. The outward appearance of a person. He put up a bold front. The part of something that is nearest to the normal viewer. He walked to the front of the stage. The side that is seen or that goes first. A sphere of intense political activity. A sphere of intense political activity. Maintain in safety from injury, harm, or danger. Fruit preserved by cooking with sugar. Keep in safety and protect from harm, decay, loss, or destruction. We preserve these archaeological findings. Keep or maintain in unaltered condition. Cause to remain or last. Preserve the peace in the family. Prevent food from rotting. Preserved meats. To keep up and reserve for personal or special use. A domain that seems to be specially reserved for someone. Medicine is no longer a male preserve. A reservation where animals are protected. Keep undisturbed for personal or private use for hunting, shooting, or fishing. Preserve the forest and the lakes. The territory occupied by one of the constituent administrative districts of a nation. The proper sphere or extent of your activities. It was his province to take care of himself. A knowledge domain that you are interested in or are communicating about. It was a limited realm of discourse. The domain ruled by a king or queen. A domain in which something is dominant. The rise of the realm of cotton in the South. A form of trustworthiness. The trait of being answerable to someone for something or being responsible for one's conduct. He holds a position of great responsibility. The social force that binds you to the courses of action demanded by that force. Every right implies a responsibility. Every opportunity, an obligation. Every possession, a duty. The proper sphere or extent of your activities. Characteristic of or peculiar to a woman. The sphere of work by women. The staff on which wool or flax is wound before spinning. A large area of land preserved in its natural state as public property. There are laws that protect the wildlife in this park. A piece of open land for recreational use in an urban area. They went for a walk in the park. Scottish explorer in Africa, 1771 to 1806. A facility in which ball games are played, especially baseball games. Take me out to the ballpark. A lot where cars are parked. A gear position that acts as a parking brake. The put the car in park and got out. Maneuver a vehicle into a parking space. Can you park right here? Place temporarily. Park the car in the yard. A sloping gallery with seats for spectators, as in an operating room or theater. An oval large stadium with tiers of seats, an arena in which contests and spectacles are held. An oval large stadium with tiers of seats, an arena in which contests and spectacles are held.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.